you guys are talking and telling stories about your lives. What happened this weekend, you know? Oh, I did that one time, and this is what I did. Or that's happened to me before, this is what I did. The purpose of that is to help whoever you're talking to either get over an obstacle or come out better by using your example, your teaching. And just the way that our breath is, when we take it in, we need it to live. Words need breath in order to become words. So always be conscious of what kind of words are coming out of your mouth, what kind of stories you're telling, because those are all sacred. Breath is sacred. So, any questions? Okay, we'll go on. A lot of information. None? Anything about the stories? Jamisa, anything to add?
Like, you use a lot of hand signals, like why? Like, why do you?
Good question.
Yeah, it's a combination of sign language. Actually, what I learned as I came to Lawrence to go to Haskell about 20 years ago, and I joined a theater group there, and we learned, I want to say it was a Pueblo style of sign language that we use. So those are symbols that just continue. They kind of go with the stories. I separate. I see, and it's hard to not do it. I talk with my hands anyways. The girls would laugh and say, "Held your hands, you just wouldn't talk." I would cease to talk if they just held my hands still. But I use a lot of hand signals anyways. But yeah, those just kind of go with. They mean things like work, man, woman, sun. Great Spirit and sun are kind of the same. Yeah.
You said that the winter was your story season, and I just wanted to know why. Did it have anything to do with like being inside?
Yes. Yeah, because we were not, during the summer, after the snow melts, you immediately start preparing your fields for plowing, for planting. Children are part of that work process. Everybody has a job, everybody has a responsibility, because that's life. And so you were always given responsibilities, and you were never outside during the waking hours. If we couldn't, we never could sleep in at my grandparents' house. It was just a no-no. We just didn't want to do it for fear of, I don't know what. When nobody ever tried to find out what would happen, we were just always told, when the sun's up, out of respect for the sun, you don't waste it. And there's so much day that you can't waste. So we were working while we could. And then after the harvest and it starts to get colder, kids have to be inside. It's too cold to be outside. So a lot of learning is done, storytelling is done. Specific kinds of storytelling is done then. It's a learning season. And then there's other learning that goes on, similar stories, but not as detailed maybe during the winter, during the summer months. They're more learning about your world and your responsibilities in that world outside.
Good question.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard about any stories about like when the Spanish and English people came over?
We have stories, part of our creation, that talk about what is equated to Jesus. So we have stories that talk about a very light-skinned person that comes to visit, never came back, or promised to come back later, and we're waiting. But that would be about it. Not about Spaniards so much. We have long walk stories. We have stories about our removal when the government took Navajo people and forcibly moved them, marched them about 350 miles east, and it was such a horrible time. It's a heartbreaking story because you hear about death. If there was sickness, they just would have to fall aside. The march continued. We couldn't wait for elders to rest. So if you were not healthy, young, and could walk, you weren't going to make it. And they stayed there for 3 years before they were released back to go home. So it was a pretty sad time. But those are the only, those are more current stories, but not part of storytelling. The other one that I mentioned earlier about the light-skinned person that came to visit was part of our creation, our philosophy stories. Those would be told to you at your age. Yeah. But that is, and they're different. I know there's a different version on Arizona side, on the other side of the mountain, than on my side. We're such a large reservation. Stories even differ depending on what area you're from. So, yeah. Yeah.
So I assume all the 3 stories you just told would be connected, right? Are they 3 separate stories?
They're
or?
separate stories.
Okay, I was wondering, because
Yeah.
if they were all connected, they didn't seem to make sense with each other.
No, I give you samples of what are told at different ages. So you had animal stories was the first one about the sun, and about how, like, what's going on in our world. Why do we have sunlight? Why do animals look funny? Why does it look like a big rat? It doesn't have hair on its tail. You know, so those are stories that are told to real little kids because they can say, oh, that's why. You know, it satisfies a curiosity. The coyote story is, that's an explanation as to why he's a trickster, how he got that responsibility, was given the responsibility of teaching us the story. So that's a coyote story. The last one I told is more of a creation story. That would be told at your age because you're learning about your identity, and that gives you a sense of place in this world. What makes Lori special? What about being born? You know, what's so special about being born in Shiprock, New Mexico? Why was that important? Why is that important to me? So it gives me a sense of identity. Helps me better understand my place even in my larger tribe. You know, because we're very different. Natkaninez is what they call Shiprock in what Navajo people call Shiprock, and that's the land of tall leaders. I'm short, but I think in theory I'm tall. But that's what our land is called. And Sebetah is our rock. The people who were brought there were taken their special place that fostered leadership because it was a special sacred land that was made for them.
And so in the term Shiprock then is named by
Spaniards.
Exactly.
Spaniards who came and saw the rock. It looks like a ship in the desert. It's incredible. Like I said, I'll show you a picture. Did you get it?
Is there do you think there'd be pictures on the internet?
Internet, yeah.
Sure.
We can look at that tomorrow as we
And-
reflect on
And
discussion.
what they, you know, I mean, there's always explanations. You know, there's a lot of volcanic activity has been in the Southwest, and they've explained it as being the core of a volcano, that the entire mountain fell away, disappeared, and then the core was left. You be the judge. It's kind of hard. They talk about there's a line of rock that runs a rock wall that runs from Shiprock all the way out, and they say that was one of her outstretched wings. You know, in one of the stories that she kept her wings stretched out to invite people to the land she brought, that she was entrusted to bring these Diné people to. So that's her welcome, and that extends away from the town. So, you know, I mean, there's whether or not there's scientific proof one way or another, what that does for the people who are from there, it's a reverence to a being. Would we look at that rock differently if we didn't have a story of her being alive? People will climb her. They do try to climb her, and I can say that we've never heard of. I've only heard of maybe like 3 climbs, never successful, not one, because there's, you know, who knows why, but